Tonight on Ctv3 News, 5 individuals arraigned for animal cruelty in Wani the horse case, including 3 minors. Drug plane landing near Graham Creek remain under investigation. Serious RTA on Philip Golson Highway, yet no major injuries reported. Community Triumph's Sartaneja residents successfully petitioned to keep Officer William Marroquin in charge. And Corozal's brave young student recognized in Revitalized Award ceremony. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, April 11th, 2025.
Coming soon, Pro FC 16. Get ready for an electrifying night of combat sports as Pro FC takes over the Princess Vegas Hotel and Casino in Corozal on Saturday, May 17th, 2025. Witness 14 adrenaline-fueled fights featuring the fiercest competitors from Belize, Mexico, Canada, and Guatemala, all battling for glory and supremacy in the ring. Pro FC 16. Don't just watch the action, be part of it. Pro FC 16, exclusive on the Express Plus app.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. The 5 individuals detained in connection with brutalizing Wani the horse were today arraigned on 3 separate counts, including cruelty to an animal, abetment to commit cruelty against an animal, and cattle theft. The accused include 3 minors ages 15, 16, and 17, along with 20-year-old Raheem Herbert and 19-year-old Tyreek Strawn. The 3 minors were read the charges in the presence of their guardians. All 5 were charged with 1 count of cruelty to an animal and cattle theft. 4 were accused of abetment to commit cruelty to an animal. All accused pleaded guilty on the charge of cruelty to an animal and not guilty on the charge of theft. In the case of the abetment charge, which was levied on 4 of the accused, 3 pleaded guilty and the 4th initially denied holding the rope to the horse as he was being accused of doing. After the charge was explained to him, he changed his plea to guilty. Police Commissioner Chester Williams appeared as prosecutor for the department. He spoke to the media following today's proceedings.
The young men pled guilty on 2 of the 3 counts, and they pled not guilty on 1. The 2 for which they had pled guilty for is the cruelty to animal and the abetment to commit cruelty to animal. They have pled not guilty to cattle theft. What happens today is that them having pled guilty to those 2 counts and not guilty on 1, the magistrate has now ordered that we return to court on the 5th of May, where she'll be hearing mitigation from the accused persons, and then the prosecution is going to certainly do a submission to oppose the mitigation. Certainly will be going for a term of imprisonment as opposed to a fine. And then in respect to the count for which they had pled not guilty, she have adjourned that to a date in June, when the matter is going to be heard. So there is where we are right now.
No.
Inside the courtroom, Campo Williams made a submission for bail to be denied to all 5 young men. That request, however, was not upheld by the magistrate.
Well, the magistrate do have a right to exercise her discretion. Certainly, we were hoping for a different outcome. I laid down the 4 grounds on which I believe that the court should not have granted bail, and those grounds include the fact that the offences for which they are charged with are very serious offences. They all carry terms of imprisonment. And the second one is that the offense is prevalent. We are seeing that these domestic animals are constantly being brutalized by some humans, and we have to send a strong message to persons who are committing these type of activities, as well as to those who may intend to do so in the future. The third one was the callousness with which the young men perpetrated this crime. It shows that they have no regards to the life of these animals, and if they have no regards to the life of animals, then certainly they will not have regards to the life of human beings as well. And if you listen to the video footage, the words that they were uttering while they were committing this heinous act is certainly one that should not be countenanced, and do require that something be done to ensure that it does not reoccur. And the last one was the fact that this is a crime, or these are crimes that certainly shock the conscience of the society. And while, yes, as I said to the magistrate, that the court should not act based on public pressure, public sentiment, the court do have a responsibility to address certain issues where increase of crime is concerned. And I cited a case from our Apex court. The truth is, some of them have very long rap sheet and they're very young. And to see they have such long rap sheet at such a young age, I could just imagine. And that was one of the reasons why I believe that bail ought not to have been granted, because there's a very high potential that they will reoffend whilst on bail.
But you said in there the need for a psychiatric report. I'm not sure if it's you or the magistrate, you that said the need for a psychiatric report because, you know, cruelty to animal as minors, as children, may someday result in much worse towards human beings.
And yes, and that's what I was saying to the magistrate, that the detention should not be as a form of punishment, because I do understand that when you look at the issue of bail, from a legal standpoint, you always start with the defendant right to freedom and then the presumption of innocence. But at the same time too, we have to also consider that not because you're objecting to bail means that you're trying to punish somebody. And that's the reason why I have said to the magistrate that as a part of the condition of them being remanded, that an order be made for them to undergo psychiatric evaluation, because certainly for persons to have committed the act that they did, something has to be wrong with them psychologically. And it would have been important for them to get that evaluation. It would have helped them in a positive way so that they don't continue on this path that they're going. Like I said, the rap sheet is lengthy at such a young age, and we might still have an opportunity to save them. By not doing enough, then we will just allow them to slide further and further down, and then eventually we look back and say, but you know what, that is saying, young man who may chop up the horse, now you see he chop up somebody. We have to be careful in terms of what we do.
Campo Williams today also spoke on the underlying problems surrounding a group of young men within Belize City who seem to be part of a large feud which involves rival groups brutalizing each other's animals. This situation, according to Williams, was brought up in court and seems to be at the core of this particular case involving Wani.
Is clearly an indication that this is not going to stop. There is a very strong, there's strong potential that it is going to continue, and I hope and pray that we're not going to be witnesses to another horse being mutilated the way how we saw in that video that was circulating recently. And yes, so long as the report comes to the police should take action in addressing them. I heard what the defendant Faber said, I don't know if he went to the police alone or with a parent. He's a minor, and certainly the police will not be able to take a report from a minor absent their parents being present. So I just want to say to them that if it is that these things are occurring, when they want to go to the police and lodge a complaint, they must bring along their parents with them if they are minors. In the absence of their minors, the police will not be able to take their reports, and little to nothing will be able to be done.
Is there anything that would allow the confiscation of all these horses that are roaming around with these children, or that the children are roaming around with, to be placed with people who are able to give them better care that they deserve?
They'll be treading on thin ice, certainly.
How do they prove they came into ownership of those horses?
It's thin ice. The horses are property, and you can't just take away a person's property without just cause. And it is going to be difficult, certainly.
In these cases involving minors, Campo Williams says social services will also play a role in addressing the underlying issues that may contribute to such behavior.
That is a responsibility of social, and social department is here. I am sure that they have interviewed the children, those minors involved, and as a part of the court process, I am sure that the court will also order a social inquiry report, which will be produced by social department, and that will form part of the case. Especially when it comes to the conclusion, if they are found guilty, the court is going to be requiring that report as a part of them assessing what degree of penalty they will demit on these persons.
At the end of the day, however, Williams says there is much we need to do as a society to change the community dynamics surrounding cruelty against animals.
It is something that is really outrageous. It has shocked the public sense, the public conscience, and I think that we must give it great priority. Again, as has been said by the Humane Society and even the ordinary Belizeans who witnessed what happened, they're saying that we need to do something that's going to send a strong signal. We have many animals out here that are owned by people, and we must always ensure that we care for these animals and we show empathy towards them. I, for one, am not an animal lover, but I do respect those who love animals, and I don't think that anybody should treat an animal in such way as we have seen in that video footage. So again, I'm just here to do my part in showing that from the police department standpoint, we are determined to make sure that those persons who commit these type of acts, that they are brought to justice.
All 5 individuals are expected to return to court on May 5th. The case of severe abuse against Wani the horse, where he was severely chopped by 5 young men in Belize City, has prompted serious outcry among Belizeans from across the country. Since the emergence of that case, a growing number of Belizeans are calling on the government to implement stricter animal welfare laws and harsher penalties for abuse. The case has prompted a movement from a group of vet tech students from Galen University and their professor, who have volunteered to provide follow-up care for the abused animal. Veterinary Dr. Miguel De Paz says Wani will need prolonged follow-up care to overcome his ordeal.
As this case required a quick response, it was already late. We can understand the horse was chopped approximately 5 days before, something like that, according to the story. And so it required a quick response. And so we prepared for the quick response. We got in touch with the dean of the faculty, Ms. Sherry Gibbs. We got in touch with Reimers. Myself, as a veterinarian, I have a little kit with basic supplies. One of my students that works at Banana Bank, he has basic supplies. And we were ready. And actually, I was on my way already somewhere around Red Creek when I got a call that Baja was already attending to the case. So I did not want to interrupt whatever Baja was doing. Baja has a mandate in which they are more concerned more concerned with the health of national flock and not so much with individual animal. But because it has a welfare aspect, I could see why they would have responded. Right? So they were there, and I did not want to interfere if you already have a veterinarian there. But one treatment may not be enough. One treatment to that poor horse may not be enough. It requires follow-up treatment, follow-up care. And after everything is said and done, and the horse may be fine, if there was not a tetanus antitoxin shot given to that horse, we're still not out of the woods. Although everything may look fine with that horse, horses are very susceptible to tetanus. So this morning I got in contact with one of my students who is out in the field, so to speak, Elise. So we will do our best to procure that tetanus antitoxin this morning. It's not easily available. Veterinarians, I'm sure if you make calls, you will see how difficult it is to acquire a tetanus antitoxin or a tetanus toxoid vaccine. And so I would like to take this opportunity to sensitize the providers of veterinary drugs to please import those type of medication. Tetanus is what horses cannot do without it. It's a high probability that they may die from it if they get an injury. So my point is that the follow-up care for that animal is crucial.
Vet Tech student Elise Vernon is part of the team from Galen University. Today, she recounts her visit with Wani earlier today and the emotions it brought to see his suffering at the hands of our country's youngest.
Seeing him, and not only seeing it, something that people didn't really talk about on Facebook, but smelling the wounds as well. It kind of puts you in this surreal feeling of, yes, you see the pictures on Facebook, you see the videos, and it impacts you immediately. But to see it up close and personal, I had to hold my emotions because Devante, the owner, he was right there, and I had to hold my emotions. But it hurts. It hurts to know that someone was capable of doing that. That I don't know what could have possibly gone through a human being's head to be able to inflict the injuries that they did. Because standing there looking at this living, breathing animal, it hurts to see them like that. And to smell the wounds and to know that this was real. It's not just a picture on Facebook. It happened, and it's a sad occurrence.
And while this case has brought forward many mixed emotions, Vernon says the hope is that this cruel act will translate to stronger laws against these inhumane actions.
The entire Belize found out that the penalty is only $100 fine. These laws were written long before any of us really took animal cruelty seriously, I believe. And now that it is such an important issue, especially within society, we have Spark, we have Belize City Community Animal, the Facebook page working towards animal rights. Now it is so important that we pay attention to our laws. And that was the conversation that we had, how important it is to update these laws, revise them to ensure that we are setting the precedent for the future to come, that people know that it is not acceptable to hurt another living thing, an animal, whether it be a horse, a cow, a dog, a pig. It is not acceptable. And having very lax laws kind of makes it seem like it is, because we don't have the punishment to combat these negative effects. So it is so important, and I am advocating, I'm hoping that whoever is watching this hear our cries for a new set of laws, for a more stern set of laws that can show that we are serious. Loving animals does not only mean that, oh, we love them. I think it shows our mindset as a society. It shows what we are willing to accept, what we are willing to let slide. If we put down our foot on animal abuse, it shows that we are not accepting any type of abuse. Animal, children, domestic violence, we're not accepting any of it. And that shows positively on our society. So starting at animal abuse laws is important.
A serious road traffic accident occurred on the Philip Golson Highway between Buena Vista Village and San Pablo Village, prompting a swift response from Corozal police. Emergency services arrived at the scene located between miles 64 and 65, where they found the black Ford F-150 pickup truck heavily damaged on the right side of the highway. Nearby, a white international truck loaded with sugar cane was seen parked on the shoulder, showing no signs of damage. According to preliminary investigations, the driver of the black Ford F-150, 36-year-old Henry Cunningham, a contractor from Madame Liz Avenue in Belize City, was traveling from Corozal towards the Orange Walk district. As he passed the Surrey offices, Cunningham collided with the rear of the cane truck, which reportedly lacked working backlights, leading to the significant damage sustained by his vehicle. Authorities processed the scene promptly, and a medical form was issued to 3 individuals involved in the incident: Elston Flowers, a Belize City police officer; Henry Cunningham; and Artemio Yam, a 64-year-old truck driver from Chanchen Village. Fortunately, no serious injuries were recorded. The Corozal police continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the accident while urging drivers to remain vigilant, especially in low visibility circumstances where vehicles may not have adequate lighting. 2 officers from the Anti-Narcotics and Special Patrol units remain as part of an ongoing investigation into a recent drug plane landing near Graham Creek, Toledo. The shocking incident has raised concerns over potential corruption within law enforcement, as reports indicate the officers' names surfaced on a list indicating they received $500,000 for allegedly facilitating the plane's landing. While the officers were brought in, there was no evidence that would indicate that they were involved in the plane landing. In an effort to demonstrate their commitment to transparency, the officers voluntarily submitted their electronic devices for forensic examination by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media the matter remains under investigation.
It has been investigated by the Major Crimes Unit, and the DEA is a part of that investigation, overseeing and making sure that what needs to be done is done. They're also assisting with equipments to do extraction from the cell phones of those officers and other electronic devices that may have been found at the landing site, and from other persons who were detained as a part of that investigation. So it is still ongoing, so I can't say much about it at this time, other than it is an ongoing investigation.
So their cell phones were confiscated.
The incident in question involved a plane that landed near the Guatemalan border before being deliberately set on fire. On Wednesday, 2 American fugitives were deported from Belize back to the United States to face serious criminal charges, including weapons trafficking and rape. The U.S. Diplomatic Security Service, DSS, announced the successful operation in a statement shared on social media. The deportation was the result of a partnership involving multiple agencies, involving the U.S. Marshals Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, the Belize Police Department, as well as local law enforcement from Tennessee. According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, the collaboration between the Belize Police Department and international law enforcement agencies has led to the arrest of several fugitives living in Belize.
We continue to work with our counterparts. Occasionally we get information of a fugitive being here, there, somewhere, and once that occurs, then we get into motion working with the U.S. Embassy, identifying the location, and then we do surveillance, and eventually we move in and apprehend. We have done that recently with a number of fugitives from the U.S. And once that occurred, then they are then taken back to the U.S. where they face whatever charge they may have to face in the United States.
According to the DSS, the fugitives were located through a diligent tracking effort aided by the U.S. Embassy in Belize, The specific details regarding the individuals' identities and the nature of the charges remain undisclosed as the investigation continues. After a strong petition from residents of Sartaneja, Sergeant William Maroquin will remain as officer in charge of the community and surrounding areas rather than face a transfer from the Belize Police Department. As we mentioned previously, in a heartfelt demonstration of support, community members convened on Tuesday night in the village and expressed their desire for Maroquin to stay in Sartaneja to Northern Regional Commander Christopher Noble. This marked the first known instance of an entire community advocating to keep an officer in place rather than facilitate a transfer. After carefully studying the situation, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says he decided to rescind Maroquin's transfer.
The police officers do understand that we are a disciplinary organization, and as a part of our work, we must move. And when you're told to be transferred, then it is expected that you are going to take up your transfer. But again, Mr. Maroquin has been working in Sartaneja for about 2 years now, and the people of the village do like the way he works. I can tell you that he has been instrumental in 2 major drug busts in that area just last year, and so the people have gotten to like him. They are comfortable with him being in their village, policing the village, and it has been a problematic era for us before he went there. And so, having heard the complaints of the people, I have decided to rescind the transfer of Mr. Maroquin, so he remains in Sartaneja for a little while longer.
Coming up next, Belize Electricity Limited proposes rate increase for electricity consumers. Stay tuned.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
As we told you previously, the lengthy trial of 7 individuals linked to one of the largest drug seizures in Belize's history has come to a halt and will need to commence anew. This significant development occurred on Tuesday when Magistrate Cara Walters unexpectedly stepped aside from the case, bringing to a close proceedings that had been underway for over 3.5 years in the Cayo Magistrates Court. The trial originates from a significant drug plane operation that took place in late November 2021 in the Mountain Pine Ridge region, where authorities confiscated more than 1,200 pounds of cocaine and apprehended several suspects, including a Mexican national who was serving as a co-pilot. The defendants, Salus Spenner, Eric Young, Miguel Angel Zatina, Edwin Armando Gonzalez, Jaime Humberto Maz, Edilberto Medrano, and Jesus Alberto Quintero, the Mexican national, have been facing various charges in connection with the incident. Quintero has remained in custody since the arrests were made. The proceedings had been making their way through the court system since early 2022, with 5 defense attorneys and 2 prosecutors assigned to the case. However, disruptions in recent courtroom sessions sparked tensions, particularly between lead prosecutor Alifa Elrington and Magistrate Walters, culminating in heated exchanges during the final hearings. These tensions may have influenced the magistrate's decision to recuse herself. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams confirmed that the recusal followed a formal request from the prosecution.
From the briefing I got from the prosecutor, Ms. Elrington, there seems to have been some issue in the courtroom where she believed that the case was not going as should, and that there may be some degree of bias on the part of the magistrate. And based on that, she made a submission to the magistrate for the magistrate to recuse herself. That submission was accepted and the magistrate recused herself, and so we just have to look forward to a new trial.
However, the ramifications of this decision are significant, as this restart will likely extend the legal process, possibly by several years, and signifies a costly endeavor given the involvement of numerous attorneys and defendants. For those accused, especially those still in custody, the ongoing delays contribute to a protracted wait for justice in one of Belize's most intricate narcotics cases to date. This morning, the Cornerstone Presbyterian High School in the Curacao District hosted a Do the Right Thing award ceremony where the Curacao Police Formation honored Marian Gilhari, a first farm student, for her outstanding actions during February 2025. The DDRT initiative was introduced in Belize by the Belize Police Department as part of its community-oriented policing program in 2005. The program held its inaugural National Award Ceremony in 2006 at Old Belize, with the backing of Commissioner of Police Gerald Wesby and implementation by the then Commander of Community Policing, now retired Senior Superintendent Yolanda Murray. This young program targets students in high schools and vocational institutions with the goal of recognizing and rewarding those in both rural and urban Belize for their positive contributions, good behavior, and reforms throughout their communities and homes on a monthly basis. And for a job well done, Gilhari received several awards, including a letter from the Commissioner of Police, a certificate of acknowledging her achievements, a Do the Right Thing t-shirt, and educational supplies courtesy of the Belize Police Department. Additionally, an anonymous donor from the business community presented her with a cellular phone. Today, as she received her awards, she reminded the youth of today why it is important to do the right thing.
I just want to thank these officers for these awards, because being example is not easy, but with the help of God, I have been directed by Him, and well, with God, everything is good. So I encourage you to, if you are doing good, please keep on doing good, because that is excellent. And if you aren't in the right path, please follow God and remember that He is your direction, because we are the future. Thank you.
The DDRT program aims to encourage children and youth to remain in school and pursue further education, foster character development and improve behavior, provide public recognition for nominated students through national platforms on a monthly and annual basis, and strengthen partnerships among businesses, students, educational institutions, families, communities, and police forces. Among those in attendance at the ceremony were Northern Regional Commander, Senior Superintendent Christopher Noble, Superintendent of Police Elwer Carcomo, officers from the Curacao Community Policing, and members of the Police Support Branch, PSB. The students and teachers of New Hope High School here in Orange Walk received a very generous donation this morning of a fully equipped computer system from United Distributors. The donation falls in line with the institution's introduction of advanced vocational studies in areas of technical drawing with the use of advanced technology like AutoCAD software. AutoCAD is a computer-aided design software used for creating precise 2D and 3D drawings and models and is a standard tool in fields like architecture, engineering, and design.
Yes, at New Hope High School, we are proud to have among our programs our VOTEC or vocational program. With that comes an array of needs, as you know, material and equipment, so that the students are exposed, to the as many opportunities as possible for them to have hands-on training on the different subjects that they take, specifically technical drawing and woodwork.
As a socially responsible corporate citizen, the folks over at United Distributors say they saw the need of the school and decided to step up and provide this piece of necessary equipment which will be used to advance education in our community.
Well, we saw them, they came to us and they asked us to help. United Distributors saw the opportunity to help. We always are willing to help the community. In education, we know we will never go wrong. And this is why we wanted to empower the students. And right now, they are starting with a AutoCAD program, and that's very, very beneficial for students. It opens a whole new doorway for new opportunities, career opportunities. And this is why we wanted to help. I know they need a lot of computers, and we wanted to start the movement for them. So it's a way of helping the community and helping the school. Saw them, they were very excited this morning. We handed over the new computers, and we saw that they could benefit from it, and they were very interested. They're very smart students, and they just need a push.
Today's donation, according to Vice Principal of the school, Nelson Amaya, brings the school one step closer to achieving their goal of acquiring one advanced system for each of the students enrolled in the vocational program. This goal, according to Amaya, can be achieved with the support from the wider community.
We are so grateful and honored to have United Distributors partner with us. It was very fitting when the representatives today, Mr. Blanco, mentioned that they do it because they see that our students are the future, and they really are. And it's wonderful to see business houses become so socially responsible as to partner with institutions such as our school. I must say that we have a very good relationship with a lot of business houses in town. New Hope High School has been a school that reaches out to our school community, and that includes all business houses. So I invite all our business houses to reach out as well and respond whenever educational institutions make a call for assistance. We all know that finances, like I said, in the households, sometimes they become very, very, very thin. So whenever these business houses are able to provide any assistance whatsoever, it goes such a long way, and you never end up knowing the extent to which that help goes. So I can assure you that all of these contributions, all of these donations by these houses, they go a long way, and they are appreciated. And we just pray that God blesses those businesses and keeps them, going and develops them. And I make that invitation to all the business houses, and I thank United Distributors once again, because it was so awesome that you partner with New Hope High School.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Attention farmers. The New World screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning, ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animals' well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams is on the brink of assuming his new position as Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Transport. As he gears up for this change, Williams remains dedicated to his current duties as he navigates through his final hours in the role of commissioner. Yesterday, Williams provided insights into the ongoing transition, confirming that he has officially transferred the daily operations of the police department to the incoming Commissioner, Dr. Richard Rosado.
To be briefed as well. Gone around the country to some extent. Every police officer knows that I am still the Commissioner of Police, and they know that Mr. Rosado is going to take over from me at the end of this month. And so there is no confusion where that is concerned. I continue to give instructions to police where the need arises for me to give instructions, where certain things needs to be done. I do that, and all the instructions are carried out. And I already told them that I have, to some extent, relinquished the day-to-day running of the department to Mr. Rosado. So I also told him that whatever it is I'm briefed on, that Mr. Rosado needs to be briefed as well. Gone around the country to some extent and speak to the senior command across the country and explain to them that I want that whenever I leave, that they give Mr. Rosado the full support. We are an organization that must continue to progress. And when I leave as Commissioner of Police, I want that the person who succeeds me, who in this case is going to be Mr. Rosado, that he is successful at what he is going to do.
The transition comes at a pivotal time for both Williams and the department. He noted that collaboration with Rosado has been seamless and that he holds confidence in Rosado's ability to lead the police force effectively moving forward. Belize Electricity Limited BEL has formally submitted a request to the Public Utilities Commission PUC for an increase in electricity rates set to take effect on January 1st, 2026. If the PUC provides approval, the average cost for electricity is expected to rise from 40 cents to a minimum of 43 cents per kilowatt hour, with the new rates remaining in effect until the conclusion of the current full tariff period on June 30, 2028. The company is currently awaiting the regulator's review of its proposal. This latest request also aims for the complete implementation of a previously approved demand charge rate system, which integrates time of use pricing with demand-based charges. This system will apply to all consumers, including those on traditional rates and those using distributed generations (DG) systems. In its filing, BEL cites various factors necessitating the proposed increase. The company highlights a growing demand for electricity that is being met by increasingly expensive power sources. Moreover, operational and maintenance costs have risen due to inflation, and a considerable investment is needed for grid modernization projects. Among the planned improvements are the connections of new utility-scale renewable energy projects and battery storage systems, which are pivotal for integrating cleaner energy sources into the country's power grid. In a statement, BEL expressed, the proposed adjustment seeks to recover past energy supply costs borne by the company to meet the demand for electricity, which were in excess of revenues collected from customers. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, April 14th, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.